Hi folks, Martin Hood here. This time, no fancy captions, no telephone numbers, I don't have time to do it. I'm Martin Hood, I'm an attorney, you can find me on the internet. Today, we're going to talk about Government Gazette 52388 of the 28th of March. It affects you. Listen up. Last Friday, 28th of March, the Department of Police, the Minister of Police, in conjunction with the private security industry regulator, published a series of proposals on how to control firearms within the security industry. This is my happy face. I have to be happy when I tell you this because I'm going to deal with a bunch of people who drafted this, who have temporarily left this planet, so I can't be nasty. These proposals are coming to your doorstep if they're not stopped right now for the security industry. I'm going to give you a few examples of why you need to wake up, you need to say something and do something about these proposals. First of all, these proposals restrict the use of firearms in the security industry. In fact, they restrict the use of weapons. And I'm going to give a simple example. This proposal suggests that handcuffs, which are now deemed to be a weapon, must be regulated. A person must be trained on how to use them. And the regulator must give permission for you to issue and use them. Handcuffs. The security industry is no longer allowed to use tasers, tear gas, water cannons, sponge grenades, rubber or plastic bullets, or any other weapon that may harm civilians. And if you want permission to use these, you've got to apply at least 7 days beforehand, which means the protesters that you are going to address in a riot are going to have to give you 7 days notice of their protest so you can get permission, which may or may not be granted, for your security company to use rubber bullets. Gets worse, people. Gets worse. The security industry is going to be prohibited from using firearms at the following places: taxi rank, cemetery, stadium, shopping malls. How do you deliver and collect cash? Churches, restaurants, hospitals, public and private schools, and any other similar public establishment. You think that's all? Wait, there's more. The use of firearms must be in the interest of public safety. Not my safety, public safety. Security officers, and listen up people, because this is coming to you if this goes through. Security officers must have an annual assessment of their visual and audio capacity, locomotive system, neurological system, and general mental and emotional condition. If you want to use a semi-automatic firearm as a security service provider, a semi-automatic rifle, you can only use it for the transportation of valuables and protection of critical infrastructure. That's it. Can you see where this is going? These type of restrictions are going to be imposed on us. Oh, there's another one, by the way. All firearms must have tracking devices in them. Approved by the regulator, and the service provider must be approved by the regulator. People, this is serious. These proposals are going to severely limit the ability of the security industry to do the job that it's doing, which really should be done by the police. And there's no alternative suggested here, by the way, that the police are going to be better at their job, for example. And the cost of security services is going to go up through no fault of the security industry, but because government says, oh, let's stop crime by passing more laws when we can't enforce existing ones, and let's hope criminals obey them. Do something about it. Government Gazette 52388. Google it, look at it, read it, do what you have to.
Hey folks, Lachlan here. South Africa has one of the largest private security industries in the world, if not the largest. And this is mainly because the vast majority of police officers in this country are underskilled and incompetent. Now, I have worked in emergency services, which means that I have experience working directly with the police on serious crimes. So, I do not mean to imply that there are no good cops in South Africa. Of course, there are. I've worked with many of them. But the vast majority are useless. And this is why South Africa has such a large private security industry. I'm going to tell you a little bit about an experience from my own life. Roughly a decade ago, my cousin and I survived a violent home invasion in which we were both threatened at knife point, and I was trapped in a car for 45 minutes, fully expecting to die. As I've said in many previous videos, I am in a wheelchair. I have a severe disability which prevents me from being able to walk at all. So if somebody has the desire to kill me, doing so while I would make it as difficult as possible is something that a motivated criminal could quite easily achieve. On the day that we were robbed, the police were the last people to arrive on scene. They arrived long after the criminal had been apprehended by our security company. In fact, all they did was come and pick him up and take him off to jail. That is all they did. And nonetheless, he was released about a year later with no charge because the prosecutor declined to go forward with the case. Apparently, because his family told the court that he was a good boy who would never harm anyone. So, this is why private security in South Africa has become such a vital industry. If the laws are passed that are mentioned in the video from the attorney that I just played for you, this will make South Africa an even more dangerous place than it already is. And as I have said previously, yesterday in fact, South Africa already has one of the highest murder rates in the world. And if a security guard is not permitted to use weapons in defense of themselves or other civilians, then they basically have no purpose. This is, in my view, part of the government's continued plan to disarm South Africans so that when they institute dictatorship, no one will be able to stop them. And if you don't agree with me, fine, continue to live in your fantasy land where no politician would ever do anything so evil. Me, I live in reality, and it does not look good. As always, I hope you find some use in this content. Look after yourselves, take care of each other, and for now, farewell.